Welcome to the Penny Bloom Podcast. Ain't another place that has got more bombast. Romp past your mom, dad's listening to Tomcats. Talking everything that make you sad. We don't want that. We're here to make you smile. Put your mind at ease. Peace, love, and bloom, and always praise Keanu Reeves. This what we about. This some weeding now. We'll talk until we can't no more, and then we peacing out. Alright, let's go. Penny Bloom Podcast. It's the Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast. It's the Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast.
Hello, everybody, and welcome in to Rebellion's Bloom, our Star Wars umbrella show here on the Penny Bloom Podcast. And today we are covering both The Mandalorian Season 3, Episodes 5 and 6. And they were fun. They were some goodies. I'm Colton Robertson. I'm joined by Joseph George. What's up, homie?
Oh, what up, what up? Always a pleasure to be here.
Always a pleasure to have you. And as I said, we are covering Chapter 5 and 6. This is The Pirate and Guns for Hire. These are some pretty simple episodes, pretty straightforward. And frankly, I had a great time watching them. Episode 5, a fun one directed by Peter Ramsey, who directed Into the Spider-Verse, who I think you can get a little bit of those notes. Like, this is someone who is familiar with directing animation and knows how to position his camera and relative to the actors. And because, man, the way he shot Paz Vizsla in this episode was beautiful for me. I loved seeing Paz Vizsla on screen in this one.
Oh, yeah, I think, on first watch of these episodes, I think our expectations were a little higher because we're like, all right, the season's got to get rolling. We're like expecting so much, and then we get the stories, just some laid back. I don't know, like we get the Pirate King here, and it's really fun. You get Zeb, you get Carson Teva going around. We get a little bit of Rangers of the New Republic in this episode, and kind of once the rewatch of this episode was much better. Whenever I just knew what it was. And I don't know, could just enjoy it. Like on first watch, I was so focused on Zeb and everything. When he popped up, that I didn't even know Dave Filoni, Deborah Chow,
and Rick Famuyiwa.
Yeah, they're like all just chilling right there, which was really cool. And I don't know, I really enjoyed the Carson Teva stuff. At first, I was kind of throwing it off, and I'm like, man, I really want to get going with this story, but now
I adore that character, man. If I want them to revive the Rangers series and make him the lead, give Paul Sung-hyung Lee the love there. Just go ahead and make him the guy, because
that scene between him, Kane, and the requisitions officer.
Yeah. Tim Meadows, by the way, who is hilarious. Just a funny addition to Star Wars.
Yeah. Don't place it there. That's my work area.
Man.
Slides more work on. No, I don't know, that is, these two episodes, we just get a bunch of people that you would never expect to see in Star Wars now. And it doesn't matter, at the end of the, it's not going to affect anything. It was just more fun, and it made the episode.
Well, and I will argue that these episodes do, and in retrospect, because we are recording this post episode 7, it's been a couple weeks since we recorded on it. So we do have the benefit of hindsight now with where the story has gone. And that episode just vastly improves earlier episodes, this episode made it clear, set in stone, that Bo-Katan is our main character for the season. Because it was a little up in the air. There was still some split screen time between Din and Bo, and I would say that that's still the case here. But that conversation at the end with the armorer, whenever Paz is like, the armorer would like to speak with you. And then they just go straight down there, and she's like, remove your helmet. Dude, that shit was hard. That's, you have walked both worlds. You can unite the tribes. I was like, okay, so this is what this has been about. And I'm so glad that we're finally getting there. And not to say that they haven't even come close to getting there, with them going to Mandalorian episode 2, I'd say that's the closest we've come to acknowledging any of the overarching story of the season in the first half. But if you watch episodes 2, 5, 6, 7, oh buddy, that's some good shit right there.
That's true, and that kind of feels like that's what it was supposed to be. And then they're like, well, we have to slot Rangers in here somewhere. It fits there, sure.
Splice some more in there. And don't get me wrong, like I'll say on the next episode, episode 3 is the best, the second best episode of this show so far. And but regardless, I loved that this finally gave us a little bit more of a solid direction with Bo-Katan is going to be the goal here. She is what we're trying to boost up. And then in episode 6, we come to the conclusion of that episode. She's reclaimed the Darksaber. We've got the Mandalorians back in her corner. We're thriving, and it's like, okay, here we fucking go. You know, like that's the shit I like.
Steam was building, and I don't know. I like the switch to Bo-Katan. I like that it's not just they're gonna stick with Din and keep forcing Din to be the main character.
You know what's interesting is we've discussed previously how it feels like they've kind of undone Din's arc a bit from season 2 because he's put the helmet back on and stuff. And that kind of felt like frankly, it felt like the conclusion, what probably should have been the conclusion of a story if they're just trying to tell the story, instead of just trying to milk it and keep it going. But the choice to pivot and go with a new main character, because your main character from the last 2 seasons has kind of completed his journey, they put it all back on the table. So we're going to do the same thing that we've done with Bo-Katan, where in Clone Wars, it was like, oh, maybe she's the one we should follow. Rebels, it was like, oh, maybe you should get the Darksaber. This one, it's like, oh, maybe you should get the Darksaber. We're doing the same thing with Din. Maybe you should take off your helmet. Oh, maybe you should take off your helmet. Oh, maybe you should take off your helmet. So I'm okay with it. It's just that, like, I think it was a good way to put the story on someone else and not make it so repetitive for Din. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, no, Din is finally, now, after episode 7, I like, and seeing everything back. Like, I see where everything's going, and I'm much more okay with everything. I'm just letting it happen. But, I mean, I thought Bo-Katan was my shoe-in here for character. For the episode, because I don't know, it is kind of clear here that we're kind of going with Bo-Katan now, but I think actually character-wise, I'm going with Carson Teva for this episode, just because he's the one doing it. It's not going to be done if he doesn't go. That he's like, well, they're not going to listen to me over the phone or over communications, whatever. I gotta take myself there. I gotta do it myself. They're not going to ignore me face to face. He marches straight into that office and he's like, yo. This what's happening. This is what I need. And you got Kane coming in there, just spitting Empire.
Wow!
Like holy fuck! Like I was.
Well, and then the fact that the requisitions officer is like, Teva, you're out of line. Like, bro, no, he's not. She is saying that you should let this world suffer.
I was reborn, and like smiling too. Like, oh, let them suffer, and then like that's when she smiles, and it's like, yeah, we should teach him a lesson, and then like
it's an awful imperial way of thinking.
Yeah, and she's like, oh, you people weren't something like you were captured or something like that. Like you weren't saved, you were captured. And she said, no, I was reborn or something like that. And then that's when they were like, well, all right, Carson Teva, you're out of line here, bud. You need to. And it's like, did you just hear what the old fascists said right here? Like, I don't know. Like, they were.
Hey, man, I'm all for second chances, but when she's saying you should let a world suffer because they're not a member world, maybe the perspective that you should teach them a lesson as to why they should join the New Republic and not help them is innately imperial. What would draw them to the New Republic is if you help them without expecting anything in return. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you just go, you're not in a member world, but we're here to help, that would be so much more enticing than going, man, that sucks. You probably should have been a member world, huh? Like, so what the fuck?
It's the New Republic's just, I think it's more of just the Emperor's dead. They blew up another day. The war's over. Let's just celebrate. Holy fuck, that war sucked.
Life's
just chill.
Easy now.
Yeah,
Life's
let's just
easy now.
chill. And that just gave, the Shadow Council and Thrawn and all of these people the perfect way to come back and, we see what happens in the sequels. And it takes time to get there, but we see how it's happening now. It's very clear. And I think it's a really good take on, kind of enriching the sequel trilogy, but also just right now in the current war, like, I don't know, just everything. It's hitting kind of everywhere right now. It hits for the sequel trilogy. It hits for, like, just, I feel like I don't know, if you can't really get behind the message they're trying to send here, you know, like, stop fascist people and, like, imperial people, then I don't know, we got more problems there, but, like,
might be fucking up.
But I don't know, I think now, like, I'm in a much better mindset about this season, and I don't know, these 2 episodes, like, yeah, they were just fun little additions that just keep enriching the backstory and everything.
No, yeah, absolutely. I love that. You know, where you went Carson Teva in episode 5 for your favorite character, I went Paz Vizsla. And it's also in conjunction with my favorite scene is Paz Vizsla stepping up and going, you know, why should we fight? And they're
fakes
like,
everyone out though.
And everyone's like, yeah, you know what? Why should we? This is bullshit. Why? Because we are Mandalorians. And he's like, and everyone's like, oh yeah, of course. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I called that Paz Vizsla's call an ambulance, but not for me moment, you know, like that's
did that. Yeah, he faked everyone out, but it got everyone riled up, you know. And
I have disagreed with this man on almost every occasion.
Yeah, I basically hate his every fiber, but he helped save my son, and so and then Bo-Katan. I don't know. It was hype. And the you know, using the freaking hammer as a talking stick is just hilarious. And how Din had to be like, I have the talking stick. Listen to me right now, guys. Come on, you're getting a little loud. But I don't know, Paz. You're right about knowing how to shoot him this episode,
dude. And that was part of it. It was just the way he was photographed. Everything looked so good if Paz Vizsla was in the shot, and like, so he got my scene and he got my character because. And he got my shot because Paz Vizsla with 2 Mandos behind him whenever he was holding his gun up. Dude, it was hard as fuck.
Was nice. Yeah, my shot includes Paz as well. It's Paz and Bo-Katan walking down the spiral staircase with that little circle window in the top just shining down the light. Like, ooh, was looking so nice. And I guess he kind of gets my scene a little bit. He initiates it. The Armorer wants to speak with you. And then it's whenever she actually just speaks to the Armorer herself. Right. Whenever Bo and her talk, but very short-lived Paz, you know, in that scene.
Paz inclusion. He walks Bo there and is like, all right, cool, you guys got this. And then he tips.
But it gave me my favorite shot, though, of him just walking her down there, so hey, gotta give it that.
Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, no, it was a strong episode for Paz Vizsla, and just the way, I love the way that this reminded me of, like, did you ever play Battlefront 2? Not, maybe the
old one?
The old one or the new the new one is more specifically what I'm talking about because they had this game mode called Supremacy where you try to advance through whatever map, taking out your enemy. Like it felt exactly like a level of Star Wars Battlefront Supremacy.
Really?
And it was very cool in that way. I really, really fucked with it. And Paz Vizsla was a lot of the initiation for the way the battle scenes went. And
I see that. That's actually kind of I don't know. It was. They shot it super well, showing it like from above how they were pinned down and like getting shot from all angles. It was really sick.
And if they were still updating Battlefront 2, Navarro would be a map there now. Like this.
That's true.
Like it looks straight out of a video game. Like
they built
positioned everything. Like it's.
Yeah. There was a shot in episode 7 that I forgot to mention, but it was just because of the VFX and the volume and everything. But it's whenever Grief Karga's just talking with his droid basically out on the like deck of Navarro, and in the reflection of the droid, that droid is like spotless, he's clean, you can just see everything around them, and it's like you see Grief in the reflection, you see like the balcony of like above them, and then like down into Navarro, like off the reflection of this robot, and it's like it's crazy. Incredible. It's just like they built all of Navarro like in the volume, like they for sure have all of that built. And that's why the announcement of like never mind. That's DC. I keep thinking that it's like the games are supposed to be canon, but like it would just be so easy for them to just port them over to like a video game and let us just run wild and the current episodes of like, I don't know, that'd be so sick if they're like,
What I need is Star Wars Battlefront 3 so that like I
Yeah.
can just
Like,
all the new shit
imagine-
that we've gotten in Obi-Wan and like Ferrix. Imagine a map of Ferrix, bro. That would be so fucking cool.
God. Narkina 5?
Oh,
freaking escaping out of
prison,
there, something like
the
that.
prison system.
Oh.
Yeah, like dude, it would be so cool.
Dude. Okay, yeah. They need to
They need to get on it. Somebody
Yeah.
get on it.
But bringing up Grief Karga though, steals the performance of the episode, I think.
1,000%. Carl Weathers got mine.
There's not really anyone else who really gives that much of a performance. It's a lot, it's exposition
It's a lot of
heavy.
Action heavy too.
Yeah, and a lot of exposition. Like Bo-Katan, whenever she's talking, it's just like, all right, this is just what we're gonna do. Like, and it's all happening kind of fast, so we need to let you know what's about to happen. Like, kind of a lot of fast thing, a lot of moving parts. So I mean, it's kind of a little exposition heavy, but I love when Grief Karga just gets up, on his platform, citizens of Navarro, and he just starts talking to them all, and how do we know we're gonna be saved? Who's coming? And everyone's afraid.
Yeah.
And he gets everyone to calm down.
Yeah,
and I don't know. He actually just had a presence.
Help is
in
on the
episode,
way.
Yeah.
I loved it, and the scene at the end, whenever he's given the speech to thank the Mandalorians, actually gets my favorite line in that. So Carl Weathers' Karga got my favorite line and favorite performance. So my episode was dominated by Paz and Karga. That was it.
Nice. Yeah.
And it's when he said, you may not have a home planet, but now you have a home.
That was nice. Yeah.
And I just love the way he's like, he's so clearly presenting himself as like he speaks almost like a politician, which is hilarious. Like, I know he's not technically, but he's basically a mayor, the magistrate.
Yeah,
that's essentially what he's doing.
Yeah. He's
I
in
love
charge
it,
of all these people and all their safety. He's got to make them
look
feel
after
safe.
them, man. I love me some Grief Karga, and Carl Weathers performs that character so well. We talked about it recently, the way the original trilogy is performed, and I talk about how in the sequel trilogy the best example of it is probably Oscar Isaac's Poe Dameron. I don't think anyone does it in The Mandalorian like Carl Weathers' Grief Karga. Like, I think that's he fits that vibe perfectly as well. Like, it's there's always one in every show where it's like, oh, that person is thoroughly influenced by the acting style in the original trilogy, and Carl Weathers is that guy in The Mandalorian. He's too good.
I got my line is more fun. More it's right before that moment. It's right, Pirate King goes down, kaboom. And then you go to Babu Frick. It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. I don't know. I thought it's gonna be okay. Like they talk in like broken English. They talk in like weird English and sometimes like not English at all. And then they're just like, it's gonna be okay. It's gonna I don't know. Like I thought it was just hilarious.
There is a moment in episode 7, and I didn't point it out sorry everybody. We keep referencing the fact that we've already recorded episode 7, and it's because we did. We recorded it last night, and we decided we'd come back around to 5 and 6, put them out at the same time, et cetera, et cetera. But there's a part in episode 7 where whenever Babu Frick climbs out of IG-12 and he's ready to get, like, Grogu walks past him, he goes, "No squeezy, bad baby." Bad baby. No. And then in the subtitles it says speaks Anzellan, but if you listen to what the Anzellan, like what he's saying, it sounds exactly like, "I'm out, motherfucker."
No way.
Yeah, I sent it to you on Twitter. It sounds exactly like that. He goes, "No squeezy, bad baby," and as he's walking away, he goes, "I'm out, motherfucker."
No way. Oh, Babu Frick is just coming in with the bangers. I don't know. Like, who would have thought Babu Frick in this, this season? But
dude, I love it. I love Babu.
Yeah. It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. I don't know, just a feel good moment.
Now,
Pirate
then
King
no
just
problem.
went down.
We fix.
Love it.
Ah, man. Okay.
I'm out, motherfucker.
No, yeah, I love me some Babu Frick. But
I think that covers all the favorites for 4 or 5.
For 5,
sorry,
yes. Before we get into a rating, though, I'm gonna give you my first piece of my. It's question time. It's question
let's
time,
go,
baby.
Let's go.
And this is kind of a two-parter. It all pertains to HBO Premiere Television.
Okay.
Game of Thrones and Westworld specifically, both shows you have watched. So in Mandalorian Season 3, Episode 5, there are 2 voice actors. We do not see their actual face, who are supporting characters in Game of Thrones. One in Season 2 and the other in Season 4. Who are they?
Okay. Voice actors in this episode.
Mhm.
Oh, it's at the very beginning. It's the two lovebirds. But who the heck is? Am I on the right?
That's episode 6. I'm talking episode 5 specifically.
Never mind. Okay, no. Oh, I thought that was the opening for 5. Okay, good. Then I'm okay. I would have been very wrong. Very, very wrong.
And the key
Voice
here is that you
actor.
do not see their face.
Okay.
They're a voice actor because they might not be in the suit for most of the episode. But
for most of the episode.
Supporting characters in Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones. Oh,
each of them
2?
show up in one season. The first in season 2, the second in season 4.
Oh, I'm fucked here. I gotta pull up just like the shots and just see who showed up here and who would be. Yeah, I mean, don't see their face.
You see the character. You don't see the actor's face.
Okay. Is it? It's not Gorian Shard, is it? Oh. Is it who? I don't know who voice acts him though. Who could be that voice?
It is Gorian Shard.
Oh, wow.
He is Zaro Zoandoxis in season 2. He declares Sumai. Nanzo Anozi. He is the voice of Gorian Shard. And the other is our main character, Pedro Pascal, the Mandalorian. He's Oberyn Martell.
I'm just that. Oh,
yeah. You were thinking too.
I was thinking too side character. Yeah, I didn't even think of. Oh yeah, Pedro's coming up here in a little bit. God dang it. Okay, but at least I'm like half right on one of them. I just got the character, but didn't know it was Zaro. So I'm still like pretty much 0%. But I'll give me like maybe a 0.5.
Yeah, you get a little bit. You get a little bit there. I'll give you some credit. And the second part of this question is this one is the one that there is absolutely no fucking chance you get.
I'm just gonna take a shot in the dark. I'm just gonna go.
2 actors in this episode appear in Westworld in even more minor roles than Zaro Zoandoxis and Oberyn Martell. Like, I'm talking tiny, teeny, tiny roles. So, like, there's a very good chance you don't get this. But what characters do they play in The Mandalorian? And I can give you the actors' names and stuff.
And this is episode 5.
Episode 5.
Episode 5?
I have one more question for episode 6 whenever we get to it.
Okay. And in minor roles in Westworld. Okay. Zeb.
Steve Bloom does not appear in Westworld.
That's my first guess, and my second guess. Minor role. I guess, do we see their face?
You actually don't see either of these actors' faces.
Okay.
So again, a little bit of a voice acting thing, but I think they are practical. Like, I think they are there. You just, like, because there's a body double for Gorian Shard. A different guy puppeteers and plays that character than voices it, and Pedro Pascal isn't always in the suit.
Vale, or what's the guy who leads?
Vane, yes.
Vane, yeah,
Vane
I knew it started with a V.
Yes.
I was getting so another kind of, but I have no idea what the fuck he comes up in Westworld.
He was a drone host. He's one of those guys who doesn't have a face and just walks around. Okay. Yeah, so he's the drone host.
Like, barely anything on those questions. Those are just shot in the darks.
You got that. You got that one though. You got one. You went 1 for 2. I'll give you that. Because he is one of the 2, and the other is Tate Fletcher, Paz Vizsla. He pops up as the woodcutter who smashes his own head in season 1.
Wow.
You remember that with like the giant rock? He like looks like he's about to kill one of the park workers, and then he brings it down on his own head.
Yeah. Okay.
That's Tate Fletcher. It's the guy who plays Paz.
In suit? The guy
in suit and voice.
Oh man, we didn't get to see him take off his helmet.
No,
didn't even think about that.
They just changed that.
But wow. Huh. Good on you, Paz.
Good on you.
Tate.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. Wow.
There you
Okay.
have
So
it.
I guess kind of if I didn't have the shots pulled up, that really helps. Just
I
having
bet
like my
it does. I
screenshots
bet
of
it does.
everything, and I just get to like go through. That hint was also pretty big. That you don't really see their face, but
I had to give that to you because it's like it's so vague beyond that. But yeah. So with that, let's give this bad boy a rating. What do you say?
Yeah, let's do it. It was okay.
It was a fun
enjoy-
episode,
Yeah.
Like I had a great time watching it, I think I'd say it's pretty much on the same level as most of the episodes of the season so far, at like 8.5, 8.75. It's a strong one.
Yeah, 8.75 is what we gave the season premiere.
Ooh, then I'd say probably at least that.
Yeah, I'd say because this was more just on the fun side. I'd say maybe it's just like a 9. It's like that. It was just he got Gorian Shard, and he's not going to matter much longer. He's gone. He went down with this ship. It was cool to see that. A character introduced going down with this ship.
Shame that he did have to go down with the ship, though. I wanted some more Gorian Shard.
I know, man. Oh well, that's
maybe.
all right.
I mean, like he could be a pretty old guy. He could pop up earlier in the timeline and stuff.
Who knows? Maybe he was like 1,000 years old.
He looked like he could be, man. That guy looked weird. I don't know what that species was. He could be anything.
But I don't know. Yeah, we have that. You got Zeb was
Zeb,
in here. That was like that, yeah, that was huge. You get
got some kick-ass Mando action.
Awesome.
We got some pretty cool stuff.
Yeah. I think maybe
a 9. Maybe a 9's cool.
I'm thinking 9. Okay. Did we go away with the genre rating?
We did. We do the genre rating becomes the same as the film rating, just to kind of double up on that, Okay. A little bit of a weight there.
Yeah. Got you. Okay. Because I just saw 0 in the genre of last time. I'm like, that's not right.
That can't be right.
Just, we didn't. Yeah. Okay. But so I guess it was pretty exposition, it was very actiony. A lot of stuff was happening. There wasn't very much time to sit back and just kind of let the characters talk, other than the Carson Teva and Kane, and I feel like that scene was kind of more laid back and written.
Yeah, you got a little bit of you got a little bit of time with them there. The should we do this, like the passing around the speaking hammer and stuff.
Cool.
And
yeah.
That was cool. That was a cool little scene.
And like how it was all dark and in the cave.
It was a great looking episode. It was one of my favorite. It was one of my favorite looking episodes of the season so far. I don't think it's. I can't tell you it's higher than last episode. Like I think it's about the same as last episode, chapter 4. An 8 seems fair.
Yeah. I could be there.
About where I'm sitting.
Yeah, because I think I like. Yeah, it would shake it out to an 8.33, which puts it at just above the premiere.
Cool.
Well, not just above. It's that's the premiere is the worst at a 7.58, and then this is the second lowest at an 8.33.
Actually, it is not. The Covert is the second lowest.
8.25. Look at that. I missed
just because the enjoyment was a little lower.
Yeah, I see. But made very well.
Made extremely well.
Made very
extremely well.
Yeah. Okay. I like. So 8.33. There.
All right. Yeah, and they both ended up being an 83% if you round them around, but 8.25 versus 8.33.
Man, I don't know. So. How do you feel like was it a little corny at the beginning there with the little love story, little Romeo Juliet?
That's the next episode again.
Like, oh my God. Okay. Okay, well, at least we're there now because
we can officially move on into that.
I guess on the rewatch, but
yeah, no, that is it. It was a little cornball, and don't get me wrong, like I'm 100% okay with Star Wars being corny, and it was just an interesting. I think they had to do something with it, just cause, to do a little do a little bit of something.
I guess, yeah, to give it the back, like they said the necessary things
It was
they
their
needed to say for you to get that, but like
there was a
that's
job.
the thing, is that if they're in that situation, they don't talk like that. If they have been lovers for that long, you don't talk like that. I don't know, like you don't just, I don't know. It was just very
my counter to that would be no one in Star Wars has ever talked normal.
Okay, I guess fair. But this just seemed like I've been kind of complaining about like the exposition-y nature of this season, and this was just kind of like, I don't know. It was just very, let's tell you exactly. I don't know. Very.
The Mon Cal and Quarren thing was a little goofy, but it was a kick-ass reintroduction of the Mandalorians and their fleet.
I mean, I did like her like captain's chair was like underwater,
cool.
and then like she could. Yeah, that was sick. And then I guess you got Axe coming back in here.
Axe Wove's being reintroduced here with the we were unaware there were any warlords who we needed to pay for protection, and he's like, we are not criminals. Like the just kind of like calm, loose, laid back nature he was handling it with.
Yeah,
I know it was not for war; it was for love. I thought like it was an interesting way to just splice something in here that didn't need to be here, but I enjoyed it.
I'm sorry, I understand. I know why you did it, but I still have to carry out our mission.
We're loyal, yeah. I like that shit. I thought it was cool. I enjoyed that part of the episode, and it comes with the last piece of trivia for the episode. So, the Mon Calamari nobleman, the little dude who runs in and is like, "No, I won't do it. I won't do it." Okay. He is played by a very famous superhero actor's brother.
Superhero actor's brother.
Okay. Who is the superhero actor who he's the brother of?
Very famous superhero actor's brother. Very famous superhero. Who do I want to go with? Spider-Man. Toby, Andrew, Tom. I don't know any brother. I don't. Do I have to name their brother? Or just
no. Just the actor. Yeah.
Fuck it. Tom's brother. I don't know.
It is.
Wait, no.
Yeah, it's Harry Holland. It's Harry Holland, brother of Tom Holland.
I'm like, yeah, I see a couple. I got a couple Spider-Man decorations. I'm like, yeah, Spider-Man. That's like, who's famous right now? Tom Holland's pretty kicking it right now. Oh, okay. Wow. I expected to come in donuts for these trivias today, but
you've done pretty good.
I'm kind of just lucking my way into it right now.
Yeah, no. Harry Holland, brother of Tom Holland, played the Mon Calamari nobleman here, and the Mon Calamari nobleman was a pull through from Season 1, Episode 3, whenever Din pulls back up to Greef Karga in the restaurant or the bar, and he's like, I want another job. And he gives him a bunch of stuff. He's like, we have this in the ocean dunes of Karnak. And he puts up a little hologram of this Mon Cal. So,
that's cool.
Yeah, so that guy's been missing from his home for a while.
And weren't, the scene where Bo-Katan was introduced, even like there was I don't know if I'm getting the calamari and the what's the other species? I don't know if I'm getting mixed. But they were there on that ship whenever Bo-Katan was like
the Quarren were
which is just because I remember the only reason I remember that is on the recap of the episode before it happened. They were right there, and I'm like, oh yeah, I remember those people. And then
they were the one who were trying. They were trying to get the Beskar off of Din. They fed Grogu to their little fucking guy, and Casca had to jump in that thing's mouth and save it and stuff.
Yeah, we went on some wild adventures back then, huh?
Season 2 was fun.
They've been through some
Season
stuff.
2 was fun. But interestingly enough, that specific episode, the one you're talking about, the Heiress, was directed by Bryce Dallas Howard, which was the same person who directed this episode, Chapter 6. So she's got a little thing for that. Likes revisiting the Quarren people. But this was a fun episode. It was ceaselessly fun, and specifically on rewatch, did I just like absolutely enjoy this episode, dude. Like it felt like Clone Wars in like the best way. Obviously, the giant elephants in the room
Bantha
here.
in the room.
Yeah.
As referred to by them even.
Oh yeah, the bantha in the room. Yes.
Yeah.
Jack Black specifically says we should address the bantha in the room. You got Lizzo, Jack Black, and Christopher Lloyd in here.
That's pretty sick. I don't know. I've
super
seen so
fucking
many memes of the Mandalorian and the man in the DeLorean. Like,
Yeah,
just,
yeah.
I've seen so many Christopher Lloyd or just memes everywhere of that. But I don't know. I at first, whenever I saw Jack Black and Lizzo, at first I saw Jack Black and I'm like, what? No chance. I'm like,
Yeah.
hold on, is this actually happening? And then I'm like, yeah, okay, yeah, that's definitely Jack Black 100%. And then out of nowhere it hits me. I'm like, oh, hold on a fucking minute. Oh, that's
Is that
Lizzo,
Lizzo?
too? Yeah, that's Lizzo too. Like, what the fuck's going on here? So I won't lie, it did kind of take me out of the episode for a little bit. But then,
yeah.
I mean, within minutes, I'm back in. Like, actually, on rewatch too, Jack Black kind of like, he did kind of well in this role. I'm not gonna lie.
Jack Black's incredible in this role.
I'm giving him the performance nod. Halfly because it was just hilarious and like it's actually fun and that he's
I swear I oversaw the reprogramming of the droids. I
swear they just let him go. I don't know, like because he just had like little lines that he would butt in every
where
now
I'm going with this.
Yeah, and then yeah, my husband saw the recommission of all of them. He's like, yeah, I did, and I saw like he would just throw in like little extra like little like lines in there. I don't know.
They were so animated, Yeah,
and, he was having fun with the character. He
for
was
sure.
They were having a blast.
I think they gave Lizzo a good role where she wouldn't have to do a lot, because even then, I think it felt a little clear that Lizzo's not exactly an actor. But even so, I still had a great time with her and stuff. I think
she was like, "May I please hold the baby?" And just all very royal like and everything.
And that's the thing; she got to overplay this like regalness. So it was like, okay, yeah, like she can get away with it. The cool ass headpiece she was wearing.
What is that?
It was a hologram.
A hologram.
Her
like dress thing, like that was following her around.
Mm-hmm. It was a hologram headpiece.
That's just like, just for style. There's no. It's just like just for that's sick. Okay,
it's just a little accessory that it's a little hologram on the back of her head. That's just.
What were they sipping on? That's what he says. That Jack Black is like, come sip, come take a sip, come sit. But they're like sipping on this like alien.
He says, "I hope you enjoy secretions."
Yeah, I don't know. They were
the
sipping on.
What does that mean?
Like, it was really interesting. Like this weird alien sitting in the top, and then like in this vat, and they're all just sipping and like, I don't know. Maybe it's like the juice that lets you understand everybody, like in Quantum Mania sort of thing.
Oh right. Yeah, I hope you enjoy secretions. So it's like it's sweat or something, which is real nasty. But it is what it is. We do a lot of weird shit as humans that we wouldn't think of as weird. Who
knows? Maybe alien sweat does taste good.
We drink the secretions of cows.
That's true. That is true. Weird on first thought, but then
it's also a weird way to say it. Secretions. I'd like to be a little bit more specific.
Yeah. Well, I would like to narrow that down.
But we did get some. I loved the room they were in. That's my
favorite shot. Oh yeah,
dude, gorgeous.
Like, whenever the doors open and it's Grogu, Din, and Bo just walking, and you see like it starts like you just see Grogu's ears and like the back of his head, and then it pulls in. It pulls in like when the doors finally open. I don't think you can see Grogu a whole lot. It's just like Din and Bo. But like, man, that room is just so colorful, so pretty. Like the plants, there's plant life. It's clean, but I don't know. It was very Utopia. Just S.
Yeah. And all the different species sitting there. We had the frogs back in it for a little bit there. I absolutely loved that. But Captain Bombardier did get my favorite character.
Oh, okay, nice.
Of the episode. And I was tempted to go Jack Black for the performance, but I went and shined a light a little somewhere else.
We're probably never going to be able to say that ever again, that I could give Jack Black the performance in a Star Wars anything. I don't know. I hope we come back to Plaisir 15,
I think we will. I think there's
Mandalore as like independent, and like this could be null and void if everyone just gets killed in a couple I don't know. But I'd really hope that it all goes well and everyone's around and Mandalore's kicking it, an independent system. We got Plaisir 15, we got Navarro, Mandalore. It's coming up. I don't know. A pretty cool group we got going on here.
I enjoy it. And I mean, like, not to mention that the domes, like, reintegrating, like, Captain Bombardier is the facilities designer. He helped structure these domes. Like, it would not surprise me if he returned to help rebuild Mandalore, which is
okay,
which is a funny thing, but I love it. But yeah, I love me some Captain Bombardier.
Can you imagine he comes back and he's like, "Oh yeah, your old domes way too boring. Like we have to do something about it." You know, he just I don't know. Like that'd be.
I almost guarantee he'll be back.
Yeah, because those domes. I thought we were on Mandalore for a second. I'm like, wait a minute, is this somewhere else on Mandalore that wasn't bombed, or like, what is this? And it's like, nope. Plaisir 15. We got Imperial droids coming out the ship. I'm like, where the fuck are we? And then I guess the droids are the problem, you know, or problem. That's going on. Like kind of a side story, and literally they were in the like shuttle that was taking them there, and they're like, "Oh, sorry, you are locked out. You are on, like, you are forced to do this." And
the
it's
little
just kinda, yeah,
and it was like, "Hello, welcome to Plaisir 15. We will take this for you." And
it kind of felt like a fourth wall break a little bit. It's kind of the way of being like, we're going on a classic Mando adventure. It's just going to be a one, planet thing. Like, just sit back, enjoy the ride, and then you get everything. So I don't know, that they handled it actually really well, and it was so much better on rewatch. Whenever I knew what
that
was
shit
coming,
when
it didn't have the shock factor. But
whenever it said like, do I have your permission to scan your chain codes? And they held out their chain codes, and it was like Bo-Katan and Din Djarin. Thank you. And then like Bo like looks at Din, and then the shuttle takes off, and she like the facial acting Katie Sackhoff did there was just really, really cool. I enjoyed her a lot in this episode. She didn't quite get my performance, but she was damn close. But yeah, it was a fun one. The whole, again, this season more than any other season of The Mandalorian feels so heavily influenced by Blade Runner. Visually, and I mean, even in this one, we actually get like a detective story with Din and Bo, which was really cool. Like whenever they're inspecting the crime scene after they've taken the droid out, and it's
kind of a classic Scooby-Doo story here too. Like the guy they went to first is the guy who's in charge of everything. And you wouldn't expect it, and then it's him the whole time. I don't know. It was like, it was so much fun. I didn't actually expect it to be him though. Like whenever it came back to him, I was like, oh wow, I didn't actually see that coming. But I thought the droid story was actually like, that's the thing, is that in the droid bar itself, that's my favorite scene of the whole episode, is like whenever the bartender is like, they come in there all bad, or Din's good cop, or Bo's good cop, Din's just absolutely wanting to, dismantle him, and he's playing hard. But that droid eventually is like, no, like, yeah, we're afraid, we want to help, we just don't know what to do, we know in our case, like, this is a problem. We feel like we're going to get replaced. And I'm like, whoa, this took a turn I did not expect. And then I think it may be my favorite line. Yeah, it is. Whenever he says, we don't want to be replaced. We still have a lot to contribute. Human life is so short. They don't ask that much of us. Organics created us. It's the least we can do. And then all the droids just start to like cheer, and like, they're like, yeah. And I was like, whoa, like that was like out of droids, in this droid bar. Like I did not expect I didn't cry or like cheer up, but I was like, whoa, I actually like a little emotional moment with the droids. It was nice.
It goes back to that the stuff I was talking about. I can't remember what on, but like the one of the things that usually determines morality in Star Wars is whether or not you treat droids as you would humans. And that's not a 100% foolproof sort of thing, but if you treat droids really nicely, you're typically a pretty good person. You know what I'm saying? And just seeing them refer to humans as being like, like it's the least we can do. They're the reason we're here at all, and we want to help. It's just that something's happening. We don't understand it either. We don't like it, and I really enjoyed that. I thought it was compelling.
The drink that they all drink even the
Nepenthe.
one that's not with the nanobots or whatever, it literally just makes them like forget and like become more robotic and like to wipe their memory basically. Like that's kind of sad, you know, like all droids, like they just go in after their day of work, drink their oil that just kind of makes them forget and be droid-like, you know, or like whatever. I don't know. It was just,
Imbibe.
man.
One of the considerations for favorite shot for me was whenever they cut down to the droid who was looking through the batches of Nepenthe, or like the little.
Whenever he zoomed through it, yeah. I was trying to get the screenshot of. I have a scrandshot of when he picked it up. I was trying to get
hard to do a screenshot of that. Yeah,
but man, was that
that
sick.
in motion though was super fucking cool. My favorite shot and scene actually come all sort of at the same time. It's the droid chase through the streets, like starting with Din kicking over all of the battle droids, and then
start to push him.
What
like
are you?
Boston,
What are
you know,
you
like
doing?
The
What
Boston
are you
Dynamics
doing?
sort of thing, where they like push the drones with poles, and then like I don't know, see him fight back eventually.
I wouldn't do that if I were you.
But man, when they started running, and it just got into all the like neon lights,
dude,
like oh yeah, that was nice.
hard. That was hard. And then when they take him out, it's the shot of Bo-Katan holding up both her pistols after she's taking the droid out. That's my favorite shot.
I took two. There's one where she's kind of looking more down, and
it's the one where she's looking up.
Okay, that's what I thought.
When she looks up, that shit's pimp. She's like, yeah that's right.
Yeah.
You know, like when she was looking down.
Did that.
Yeah.
Okay, because I took both of them, and I wanted to just make a guess on which one it was. It does look better.
Well, and there's this cool thing about this episode too, where it gives one thing that's intriguing to me about Din and Bo and the approach to Din's story specifically, and kind of the Mandalorians as a whole, is a semi ignoring some of the things they decide to do with season 1. Because there's this line in season 1 whenever Moff Gideon goes, like, for the first time, and he's, like, going through all of them, and he's like, Grief Karga, Cara Dune, Din Djarin, and Din's like, I haven't heard that name since I was a child. All the Mandalorians seem to call each other by name now, which is hilarious. You know, Paz Vizsla is Paz Vizsla. They call him Paz, like, they call Din now. Nobody calls him the Mandalorian. Nobody calls each other the Mandalorian. So it's just kind of like, that was one interesting thing to me. And I guess it's just that, like, he's gotten more and more used to just being referred to by his name, I guess. The other thing is that I love the way they make it clear that Bo doesn't know where Din comes from. Because she's like, you seem to be taking this pretty personally, you know, like, what's your problem? And he's like, well, my parents were killed by battle droids. I have some deep trauma with this, and any chance I can get to fuck them up, I will gladly take.
Yeah, you had me at blaster or battle droids.
You had me at battle droids.
Yeah, it was almost the line. Just I love Pedro Pascal. You know, I don't know, just when he can deliver something like that, it's nice. I just want him to take the goddamn helmet off and do it, and be there next to it. I don't know. I can't wait for that. I hope it happens. I hope it happens soon. But
that'd be ideal. But
no, I mean, even whenever they swipe, you know, he swipes through all those cars. That leads him to the morgue. They pull out the
like classic detective stuff.
It was awesome. Yeah. There's a what spark. I don't know what the droid equivalent, but it was basically like a matchbox, but for droids, a spark box or whatever. And it's like, it has an address. Let's go see. Let's go check it out. They go to the droid bar. All right, let's do this. Maybe this time let's do it my way. You know, you got it your way. Let's do it my way this time.
The buddy cop trope, man.
I don't think they get many of our kind. You know, it was perfect. Like I don't know. I
absolutely adored it, man. And the whole. When they got there, and you know, do you think the Nepenthe's still on?
Think it could still be active? And I didn't catch it first
still
time.
Active.
The assistant person there that's just kind of, or the
she
lab
gets
person.
clipped.
Yeah, she actually. I had no idea at first, but I did because at first I thought that she was kind of like reacting to Din slicing the thing in half and being like, I've never seen like, what the fuck? Like, holy shit, like, on her face. But then I'm like, well, she's actually probably just in pain from getting clipped by that actually, or both.
Yeah, and what's interesting is, like, no way they make that the last time he uses the Darksaber,
That's true. Oh my god, that would be the last time. And it was just, he got it up. He knew it was going to be heavy, so that's why he started up
going
already.
To follow through on that with him with it being light all of a sudden. I guarantee it. They have to at some point.
And if it's because he knows, like, maybe he still has a little bit to go. Maybe, like, he's like, I will serve you, Bo-Katan, but maybe he still has some, like, internal stuff going on.
Oh yeah,
Maybe
I think once he decides he is comfortable taking that fucking helmet off, that thing would be light as fuck.
The helmet comes off, the weight goes away too.
The weight is lifted. Yeah.
Ooh, it's gonna be so good if it happens. But I guess coming back to, I guess we haven't talked about just the just Grogu's part of this episode that I love is that for one, he's a knight now, which is really sick. I want to maybe keep track of all the titles that he earns because he's like Jedi, Mandalorian, Knight of Plaisir 15, or I don't know,
Knight of the Ancient Order of Independent Systems, or something like that.
Damn. And is that the Ancient Order? Is that like what they're starting now, the new independent, or like is this well, I don't know.
No, I think there are Knights of the Ancient Order of Independent Systems. Like, I'd be willing to.
Ancient Order of the what?
Of Independent something. I can't remember.
Independent Star Wars. I guess I don't know. Confederacy of Independent Systems? Nah, that doesn't sound right.
That's Count Dooku.
That's just Count, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. But Grogu's probably going to have quite a lot of titles or something by the end. I don't know. It was really cute that he got knighted. Bo got the key to the city, which was
my lord,
my
lady.
But I don't know. And then I thought the episode was actually over there, like at the end of Plaisir 15. I didn't think we were going to get any more.
No, and then we got it.
But man, thankfully this scene was in here, and I guess, I don't know, a lot of people, there were a lot of people that were upset that, like, wow, it really was just handed off again, and, like, they're falling into the same, like, really, it was, I don't know, like, but I think this was actually done well. She fought someone there right before, she fought Axe, and then proved herself, and everyone's like, well, okay, wait, you're still about that, you're still Bo-Katan, and she gets up and, gives her a little spiel, and then Din's like, yeah, no, I don't need this thing. It doesn't even mean anything to him, really, anyways.
Right.
It's just, it's just another cooler weapon that he has a harder time wielding. So, honestly, like, for Din, it's more of a hindrance than anything. But, yeah, I don't know, I think that last final scene was really good with Axe, coming up at first, being like, a misguided zealot wields the blade, and I might remind you all that he doesn't have a drop of Mandalorian blood in his veins, and Bo, and then is like,
It was a knight of the Ancient Order of Independent Regencies.
Oh my lord, that's a mouthful. Is there an acronym? What is that acronym? Well, probably not.
AOIR.
AOIR. Grogu's a Jedi, a Mandalorian, and
Grogu is the first known knight of the Ancient Order of Independent Regencies in Star Wars canon. So,
well, at least it's starting.
It's starting strong.
If he lives to be 1,000.
I was looking for that, so I had to mention it. But yeah, that last scene. I had my issues too, with that on the first watch, just because, you speak to the exposition heavy sort of stuff that happens throughout the show, and they built it in so that it made sense to be exposition. He had to explain it to people in the show. But
he defeated the enemy that defeated me. So doesn't that make it hers?
See, what my only issue with it, I don't have a problem with the idea of that being the reason. That reason makes sense. Logically, like, yeah, fuck yeah. at the end of episode 2, though, why don't you go like, so I guess this is yours now?
Oh, I guess it is important that it needs to be. Maybe the transfer needs to happen in front of a lot of people.
Maybe, yeah.
Usually it's done in combat where there's other people around, and like they see the loser obviously, and they're like, okay, yeah, you won, you got the Darksaber now. At the end of the day, it's all just like a symbol of power, and
yeah.
So it worked better that they were in front of everybody. But yeah, you're right. If he truly thought that, then and he doesn't care about the Darksaber anyways. Yeah, I don't know,
and my money's on like it means so little to him that he didn't even think about it in that moment, and then like he got here and they were like, a fucking zealot holds the blade. It doesn't mean anything, and he was like, oh shit, wait a minute, check this shit out.
Yeah, actually, oh fuck, I forgot I had that. Here you go.
Yeah, no, and like so, like I don't have any beef with it. I think it's a fine choice. I just think that. I think that they were doing the same thing they've kind of been doing with the season, where they made that a moment, a twist late in the season, like, oh, you guys didn't even think about this, did you? And of course I didn't. I think it could have happened earlier and been just fine. Once again, like a bunch of stuff that happens in these later episodes. I'm like, I don't see why that couldn't have happened earlier in the season and it affects anything. And that's one of the things.
Yeah. Granted,
maybe if she gets the Darksaber back so early on in the season, she's not open to going with the other Mandalorians and sort of, so there's merit on all sides. I think that some stuff just works really conveniently for the plot they've laid before us. And again, I've enjoyed the season. I've had a good time. It's just, could have been done better in places. That's all.
Yeah.
But this fight was dope. Between Axe Woves and
really sick. There's a shot of whenever Axe starts using his flamethrower and Bo deflects it off her like shield in her arm, and she's like just behind it, all looking badass. It's like, yeah, this fight was
when she like jumps up and uses the jetpack to do a drop kick.
Oh my god, that's the first thing she does.
Yeah,
like
that's how she starts the fucking
and
fight.
She just goes whoa, and then just kicks him double in the chest. I was like, holy fuck,
that was hard as fuck.
Like, damn. No helmets
and
or
this,
anything. Like, two helmets off, boom, just going at it, and everyone's like, to stand back, like, yep, this is what we do.
This is how we do things.
We can't step in at all, but man, this, like, I don't know, I love how everyone, like, when someone gets knocked down, they look at, like, whoever they're close to, and then they're like, yeah, keep going. They give them, like, that, like, up. You better get back up, you better keep fighting. I don't know,
But this scene does contain my favorite line. It is after Axe Woves goes, and a zealot with not a Mandalorian drop of blood in his veins holds the saber. And Bo looks back at him and says, Din Djarin took the creed and chose to walk the way. And it was kind of like, this was another reason I almost went with Katie Sackhoff for the performance, because the way she delivered this line was strong. Her like voice kind of breaks in the middle of it. Like it shows that she's like really passionate about the thing she's talking about, and the thing she's talking about is Din, by the way. Din Djarin took the creed and chose to walk the way, just as our ancestors did. He is every bit the Mandalorian they were. And then she looks back at Din and smiles and said, certainly as much as any of us. And I was like, God damn, yeah!
I mean, hey, if Din doesn't walk down to the living waters and go there, Bo-Katan never sees the Mythosaur. At all. And Bo was mocking it, even in the room. Oh, let me read you this panel real quick and show you the deep history of what was here. She's mocking it, and then boom, now she's on a mission. She's leading every Mandalorian people right now. Hopefully, at the end of this, hopefully the infighting is done, other than a few spies on the inside. But no, I think the transfer. You're right. Probably could have happened a little earlier. Would have strengthened Din and Bo a little bit more if it could have just been a more personal thing and been like, I don't know, like they just sat down and Din was like, hey, who defeated, like, I don't care about this anyways. I don't even know why I have it. I suck with it. Like, just, I know you don't want to take it, but technically it's yours by this loophole.
Well,
I don't know. Like,
there is also the fact that he has just been gaining respect for her throughout the season. So where where Bo has been gaining respect for Din and her beliefs, this is Din showing that he's gained respect for her and her beliefs. You know, being like, the reason he didn't give it back to her is because it truly didn't mean anything to him. He was like, this doesn't fucking matter, you know, like, it doesn't matter if you hold this. And then when he gets there and he realizes, like, oh, it's important to a lot of these other people, it's important to her. Maybe now's the maybe like
she
I guess
still doesn't use it. That's the thing. In episode 7, she waits until she absolutely needs to use it to cut through the door. So like she doesn't use it in battle. Very, I don't know, interesting that they're waiting on that. Like I thought that she would be getting it back in Beskar. I guess it would reflect off Beskar. Probably wouldn't cut, but I mean, still probably.
Yeah, because the lightsabers don't go through Beskar.
So probably actually would have not been the best thing to use in that situation.
No,
because she can't deflect bullet or blast.
No, she doesn't have the force like that.
She's not like that. So okay.
She's not like that.
I gotta trust her. She knows her weapons. She knows her kit. She knows what
she's doing.
But and here, I mean, she showed it against. I mean, is there any Mandalorian that like maybe Paz? Paz versus Bo would have been an interesting fight.
That'd have been a
Bo's
fight.
quick and smart, but Paz is just pure power.
Well, I mean, Axe and Paz came to a standstill.
True. And okay, so by the transitive property, if Bo-Katan defeats Axe, and Axe and Paz are at a standstill, then they're equal. Bo defeats the Paz. Okay, I see that, but we won't ever get that. That's okay.
That's okay. But performance-wise, have either of us given our performance? You gave Jack Black, right?
Yeah, Jack Black. Yeah, perfect.
I was very, very close. It was Katie Sackhoff was close. The other one who was damn close was Simon Kassianides as Axe Woves. Thought he did incredible in this episode. Yeah. With that opening scene and that last scene. Really, really good. But the person I ended up going with was Christopher Lloyd as Commissioner Hellgate.
Let's go. We got the two. I was really hoping it would happen this way.
Yeah, I had to give Doc Brown some love because man, this guy's the shit. And he does play this incredibly just like there are a lot of people online who are going like Jack Black and Lizzo took me out of the episode. Da 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 da. I'm so pissed. Da 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 da. And Christopher Lloyd is Christopher Lloyd,
yeah, I don't know.
Granted, modernly, Christopher Lloyd is not as famous as Jack Black and Lizzo. I'll grant.
I think it's mainly the characters that Jack Black play. Like Jack Black plays Jack Black, mostly if he's in a movie. But Christopher Lloyd, I guess, would be easy. I don't know.
And they continue the whole. If a person's a bad guy, they give them the bad name. Hellgate.
Really? Wow.
Commissioner Hellgate.
He can let the Hellgates loose. If he hits that button, boom! He really the gates of hell. I see that.
Yeah.
But I love even I don't know when it's up. Oh, it's whenever they look up where the nanobots are from, and it shows his face, and there's text on screen. It literally is like this doesn't mean anything. VFX for the win or something like that. Yeah. Like it was. Yeah. You guys are
There was also there's like a ton at some point in this episode, and one of them actually says, "Roads, where we're going, we don't need roads," which is a quote from Christopher Lloyd's Doc Brown and Back to the Future.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so that was really cool. But we got a good old fashioned "The South will rise again" out of Christopher Lloyd's character here.
People wouldn't know how to take care themselves,
nobody wants to work anymore.
People are just too happy being able to just participate in the arts now. We've accomplished this and we've reached utopia and people are just actually living now. I'm pissed. I think that's the thing. If we could reach that point and we didn't,
please.
The
people of Plaisir 15 are living idyllically.
That's the thing though, is that the Ugnaughts, I really hope.
Well, that's kind of what they want to do.
I hope it's really what they chose to do. But they're kind of below, in not in the nice, very,
That's a good point. I hadn't thought about that.
But
If in any society there might
you
be
still
the
got Jack
exploited.
Black there. That's and if the New Republic is supposed, or the First Order is supposed to come out of somewhere, and maybe Plaisir 15 is slowly caking up to be just, I don't know. Like there's a lot of droids there. There's a
I
lot
am
of droids there.
Mandalorian Din Djarin, friend of Ugnaught
That
Queel.
was sick.
The implication that every Ugnaught knows each other too is extremely funny.
Oh, Queel. They were like, oh fuck.
Ugnaught
I guess
Queel. Oh, I
maybe
know
if it
him.
wasn't necessarily Queel, but he just spoke with confidence that he knew an Ugnaught. I think that was mainly it. Like I have spoken with an Ugnaught before, but I would love it if Queel is just a legend among Ugnaughts.
He's
like,
a legendary Ugnaught. No, yeah, the
he
whole
made
fucking
it out.
I have spoken, and they're like, all right, yeah, we'll talk to this guy. And what's awesome about that scene too, in retrospect, is the way Bo's like, you're malfunctioning droids, and Queel's like, or not Queel, the Ugnaught is like, our droids aren't malfunctioning. I can guarantee you that. That is a promise. And she's like, no, they definitely are. And he's like, it is not the droids. I have spoken. And he's right. It is not the droids. It is what the droids are taking in. So like it's one of those ways where whenever
too. That's the thing. They already had that list made of the defective. They knew that some droids were already defective and like something was going on. They already had that list ready to go. They're like, yeah, I can promise you it's not our droids. We even know what's going on. We don't know why necessarily, but like, here's the list of all of them.
Well, and
like,
it just connects back to the whole Din saying there's a certain way to speak to them, and that wasn't it. He's like, and they always speak in riddles. Is another thing he says. Like, they speak in riddles. He said, like, it is not the droids. We know what's happening. We know what is wrong, or we know which things it's wrong with. We don't know why though. So I loved that sort of thing. It was a great scene. It showed that Din's got a little bit of diplomacy on him, which I really enjoyed.
Not with droids quite yet though.
No, and I can't blame him there.
Yeah.
Because he's good with most droids now. He's not good with battle droids, and I don't expect him to ever be good with battle droids.
That's true. He probably liked kicking around and pushing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Like,
nice.
He was like, you know what? Fuck yeah, I'll kick these motherfuckers around. And he's like, I found it, didn't I? And the way Bo looked at the battle droid and was like, reprogrammed, huh? Like, yeah, is that right? You should have left them alone.
Yeah, but I mean, it was either Jack Black or Katie Sackhoff for me for performance, but I did still stick with Bo-Katan for character. Because she got to see, the way to speak with Ugnaughts. She and then calm Din down when he needed to calm down. It was very back and forth. And I don't know. It's very focused on Bo now. Like we're in on Bo fully. And I don't know. I think all the lessons she's learning, she's being ripened to be a good leader here, right now. So. I hope Plaisir 15 sticks around and this independent regent systems or independent title can stick around and mean something for a while.
Yeah, I loved it. But with that, I think we ought to throw a rating at this bad boy. I will say, I think this is one of my favorite episodes of the season in retrospect. Like I had a great time watching it. Like I'm bordering 8.25, 8.5 sort of thing.
On enjoyment or critical?
Oh, sorry. Enjoyment wise, yeah, more like 8.75 or 9. Sorry, I was looking at the film.
Okay, then yeah. Okay, because I just wanted to make sure, but yeah, I think I had a blast. I didn't have like the all time. It's not like a 10 enjoyment. I wouldn't say, but it was very fun. It was very fun. A crime story. Very kept me intrigued. I think we gave last episode a 9. I think I like this episode more.
I'm there.
And so I think I'm at like 9.25.
I'm game. I like that.
I don't think 9.5 might be going a little too high there. But I don't know. It was they put Jack Black and Lizzo and just everyone in here just to have fun. Like this was on Plaisir 15. We can do what we want. It's a new planet. Like nothing is written before. Like I don't know. I love whenever they can do that and have completely new things in Star Wars.
Me too. Yeah, I thought it was a great time. I had a really fun time. I will say critically, this is not the strongest. I think it is I think it's pretty well written. Surprisingly well written for the stuff we're dealing with. It's like, this could really easily just be phoned in, and I don't think it was. I think it was well written. I think it was tied together really nicely. I think if we were in the streets of Plaisir 15, the episode looked good. And I think in the droid bar, the episode looked good. If we were anywhere else, I think this episode kind of looked like dog shit.
It was not good. Like, whenever they were taking that walk, showing them the view or whatever, and like, it was not good. You could just tell
even even the hero moment at the end of the episode is such a dull and boring ass shot of Bo holding the Darksaber with Din on her right. I don't know. Like, I don't get me wrong. Like, I enjoyed it, but God, there's just something you could have done there that was
even
better.
The last time she for one held it above her head, and it was out of a ship and had everyone like kneeling down, and like it showed all of that. Like, that, it was an amazing shot. Like, and it was cool both ways, every way.
Mm-hmm.
This shot is really only cool looking from what, like, I don't know. It's very specific that they.
And even then, I don't think it was the right move.
Why? I guess it's clear why she's centered, because obviously she has the Darksaber, but like, it's very weird that like Din's just on her left, or on her right, camera left, and then there's just nothing out on the, like, I don't know, like.
Yeah, I think they are going for the whole that's her right-hand man now. Like, I think they're trying to convey that, and I do think there was a better way to do that. Like a better way to shoot it at the very least, which is a shame. Bryce Dallas Howard has been fucking incredible at directing episodes in the past. She directed season 1, episode 4, The Sanctuary, where he helps the village defend against the pirates with the AT-AT and stuff. Like, that's a great looking episode. She directed season 2, episode 3, like I said, The Heiress. That's one of the better looking, like, that episode used the volume better than pretty much any other episode of this show, close to it. She directed The Return of the Mandalorian and The Book of Boba Fett, which is a gorgeous episode. Like, I'm like, I guess I'm like, maybe I got to look into who the cinematographer was in this episode instead of putting it all on Bryce Dallas Howard, because this one was Paul Hewen. Paul Hewen did this one, and I'm intrigued as to who might have done the previous episodes that she directed, because.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, the Streets of Plaisir looked really good. The droid bar looked good. If it was dark, it looked good. But man, when it was kind of bright and you could see every detail, I don't know.
Wasn't the vibe, man. It wasn't as good.
Like, when Bo's getting the Darksaber back, I just expected it to be a much more grand shot. I don't know. Like, I was like, oh my god, this is happening, and she's gonna light it, and it's gonna be epic. And then it's just kind of like, okay. Like, I'm still hyped that she got it back, and I'm hyped for the continuation of the story, but I don't know. I felt like there was gonna be a little something more. I don't know what.
Yeah, she's had 4 different cinematographers. In season 1, episode 4, it was Barry Baz Iodine, who I know did. He's done some stuff in the past. The Return of the Mandalorian is someone who's worked heavily in The Book of Boba Fett and The Mandalorian. Season 2, episode 6. Season 3, episode 2. A good-looking episode. Season 3, episode 7, another good-looking episode. And then every episode of The Book of Boba Fett besides 2 and 4 for David Klein. So that's weird. And the season 2 episode that she did, The Heiress, this is the one that I regard as the best looking she's done, and the cinematographer there is Matt Jensen, who has been a cinematographer on Wonder Woman, has been a cinematographer for 4 episodes of Game of Thrones, including season 1, episode 6, 7, and 8, which we regarded as some of the best looking episodes because they were directed by Daniel Minahan. Yeah, this is.
That's some experience there.
I'm gonna go ahead and throw the shitty looking episode at the feet of the guy who did the cinematography for this episode, and that guy was Paul Hewen. Yeah, don't know, man. I think you kind of fucked up on this one. Wasn't as pretty as I would have liked.
The shit, like, I'm just looking through the screenshots, and like, it was cool in the opening when they showed the inside of Axe's ship and that ship, but everything in the throne room and at Plaisir 15 doesn't really. It looks colorful, but like it really.
Yeah, and like I don't want to say that he missed all the time. Like the stuff on the ship was good looking. The stuff in the streets of Plaisir 15, the droid bar, that was all good looking stuff. But yeah, I don't know about the well lit scenes. They are not actually, they're not well lit. They are just really bright.
I don't know. There is just something off about them. And maybe it's like you had Lizzo and Jack Black and Katie Sackhoff and like big people that needed. I don't know if maybe they weren't even there at the same time. Like maybe they needed to have like, I don't know, like maybe it was just
Jack Black and Lizzo definitely shot their scenes.
They were there together, that's for sure. Yeah. And whenever Din and Bo were walking, I feel like they were there.
Yeah. I think they were all together. I don't think that's a problem. I think it's just I think it was shoddily lit during those scenes. Like whenever you do have just a general brightness in a room, you got to do something a little bit more creative with your camera angles. And I do think there's something with the volume that might limit you a little bit in that, as far as...
The thing, though, is that, like, they could have so many sun rays beaming through those windows and have it look beautiful. Like, that's what the volume's for, is, like, you put a light source anywhere you want, and you can control everything about the light that you, like...
I don't know. It's weird. It's weird. It's a weird
shadow,
choice.
Every shadow that you see is placed there specifically, or it is being cast by the volume itself. So like,
hey man, I don't know. But the thing that'll always strike me is just that last shot. It's like, oh, big hero moment, but man, there was nothing we could have done here that would have been.
I could have gone to my backyard and actually done that myself. Like, literally.
I don't know.
The dome of Plaisir 15 barely in the background, but it's just trees and grass.
Like someone shooting cosplay in their backyard.
Okay, I know. Okay, we're cool. So I guess what does that mean for the critical rating here? The worst this episode is the premiere at a 7.
Maybe a tiny bump above that, simply because the story was more. The
story
cohesive.
was actually kind of good, and like the crime aspect was cool.
It was cool. 7.5, 7.75.
If it's a 7.5, it's basically an 80%. 7.75 gives it, or 7.5 bumps it up. That work?
You didn't change anything there.
That's weird. Did I go? Oh, it was 7.5 or 7.75.
Yeah.
8.25 out of 7.75. Which ties it with episode 3.
7.5. Take her down.
Okay. Yeah. So an 80%, which puts it below 3. The only one, it's the now that's the second lowest episode. Is 6. Because then it's 3. Yeah, it goes 1 at a 7.58, then chapter 6 at an 80 or 81, and then 8.25 for chapter 3.
Yeah, and this is we've had our gripes with the season, but our ratings always end up coming out pretty kindly. For the worst episode of the season to be a 76 is not so bad, and for the second worst to be a B-, it's all B to A range. That's not bad. It's not bad at all. So yeah. With that, I think we'll conclude this episode of Rebellion's Bloom. And if you're wanting to, head on over to our other episode covering the most recent episode of The Mandalorian, season 3, episode 7, The Spies. That's already up and already talked about. So go check that out. Head to patreon.com/PennyBloomPod, where you'll find over 50 hours of exclusive content, including all sorts of book reviews, comic book reviews, movie reviews, a whole bunch of stuff for $3 a month. You can support this podcast financially, which is huge because it costs me money, and I don't make any off of it unless it's over there. So if you would, head to Twitter, follow at PennyBloomPod, follow on Instagram at PennyBloomPodcast. Remember to leave a 5-star rate and review wherever you might be listening. Or 4 stars. I don't got beef with that. That's cool. Anything lower, I don't know, keep it to yourself. But yeah, please do that. It's a great help in terms of search metrics. Everything that pops up when you look up, like, you know, Star Wars or Game of Thrones or anything else we might be covering, we will not be popping up towards the top of those lists because we don't have hardly any reviews. The most reviews go to the top of the list. So need that engagement. It's very helpful. If you were fucking with me and Joe today, be sure to stick around for the next few weeks. Friday, we continue our comic book movie journey through film, and that is going to be Blade 2, which was a movie that we discussed, and it was solid. And yeah, it's a fun conversation. You got to check it out. But Monday, we continue our Game of Thrones rewatch podcast. We are hitting the halfway point of Season 3. It is Season 3, Episode 5, Kissed by Fire. And I'm excited for you guys to hear that. If you're a Game of Thrones fan, you got to be checking that out. It's such a joy to be rewatching this show, and rewatching it week to week is so rewarding, so you got to listen to that. We're going to be starting our top 100 Star Wars characters here soon, here in a couple weeks when May the 4th rolls around. No better way to celebrate this franchise that we love than a top 100 favorite characters in it. It's a joy. Got to check that out. Is there anything else on the horizon? Do we have anything else? I think that's
it until Mando finale.
After the Mando finale, the Ahsokast begins.
That'll be the.
I was like, I know there's one thing. There's one thing I'm missing in my head. The Ahsokast. Once Mandalorian ends, we are going to be reliving the best moments of Ahsoka's journey as a character, because Ahsoka is coming out in August. We don't know exactly the date yet, but in the meantime, we're going to be reliving all the stuff from the Clone Wars movie all the way through the Mandalorian Season 2, Episode 5, kind of just revisiting Ahsoka, refreshing Clone Wars, Rebels, Mandalorian, all of it. We're watching it, we're talking about it, and I can't wait to do so. Such a great character, and I can't wait to discuss more there. With that, I was Colton Robertson. I was joined by Joseph George. Thank you very much, homie.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure to be here.
Oh, and it's always a pleasure to have you. And remember, peace, love, and bloom. It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay.